Well, I got my poetry book here, and I'm on top of Lemei Rock. I figure it's a good time to read it. And you can buy this on my Etsy shop at studwalkerwhirligigs.com. I've had these for sale. There wasn't bought one yet, so you might be the first. The first poem is called A Season of Visions. It begins slowly, almost imperceptibly, small changes in infinitely smaller degrees. It wasn't until recently that I became aware of how I'd been seduced. I now recognize how all past events have led to the present moment. I now know what it means to feel the new grass cool and sharp on my feet. And not just the physical sensations such an experience would involve, but also how their spiritual and moral meanings are inherently woven together to form the mandala which has allowed these visions to overrun my senses. I present them to you, naked, with arms outstretched, simple as a mother's love, and as natural as the breath you just took. Come with me and celebrate beauty. Next poem is called The Pollen. The pollen is thick this year. It comes wafting from the trees with every gust of wind in clouds of yellow-green. The spring puddles are ringed with its phosphorescent glow. It settles on cars like cornflower. It's everywhere, and I am breathing it in eager gulps, swallowing the microspores and unconscious expectation, deep down, secretly hoping. The next poem's called I Drew a Picture. I drew a picture of you today from somewhere deep inside. It was fine like cat fur, came nuzzling up, settled in on my chest, purring to beat hell. I petted it softly, scratched its ears, rubbed its throat. I drew a picture of you today, and it was a masterpiece. Next poem's called And John Said. And John said, I ain't no anal retentive wig-wearing bastard professor who wants only to live forever in a perfect world. No, I have none of those easy emotions. My feelings rage, mad dog mean, swinging like a pendulum between love and hate, ecstasy and despair. There is no halfway point, and thus I puke on your indifference. Next poem's called The Wish. I can't give my love away. It goes where it wants, fickle as spring weather. What a pity I can't turn it off and on like a light switch. If I could, I'd change the rules, bathe the world in a never-before-felt luminescence, glowing supernova bright, then exploding in ecstasy, spreading my atoms throughout the universe, till even the corners of cupboards knew my love. Next poem's called I Hate It. I hate it. I hate it every time. The blueness of the sky, the sun's warmth. Give me clouds and rain. I want to see thunder, hear lightning, feel the wind blow fierce and cold. To hell with all those birds. Makes me wish for a shotgun. All their obnoxious chirping, the whir of hummingbird wings, the red shoulder of the blackbird. I hate it. I hate it every time. Give me pigs and mud. The steamy sweet smell of dung drops slow and methodical. The horribly green smell of the cow's breath. Oh, how I'd love to kiss those drooling lips by the light of a silver ring moon. I want to feel chicken shit ooze soft and clay-like between my toes. Forget spring romances. Give me winter divorces. Don't dull my senses with life's pleasures. I hate it. I hate it every time. Sharpen my faculties to a razor's hone. with the pain and ugliness of existence. Stretch the limits of my depression. Immerse me in the ache of loneliness and the fear of untold secrets. Extol my weaknesses as if they were virtues. I love it. I love it every time. The next poem's called The Wind. The wind caresses your eyelashes, soft, subtle in its abilities. It comes on bended knee, fawning over you with kisses tender as a new mother's touch. You sit complete, smug, taking it all in like a newlywed receiving a gift, and you know you deserve it. Next poem's called What I Missed Most. You know, it's not that tight t-shirt, or those rubber boots, or the way you walked, all tits and legs. Not all the caresses we caressed, the kisses we kissed, the love we loved. No, it's not the makeup smeared in the bottom of the sink, our mattress on the floor, the rug burns on your knees. No, what I miss most is the secrets we told. Poem's called I Saw a Swallow. I saw a swallow for the first time this spring. At this very moment, he's perched atop a lamppost, calling out to anybody who will listen. I hear his song, I'm listening, and I'm thinking of those age-old conflicts, the constant gnawing of discontent. Gotta do this, shouldn't do that, if only. When all of a sudden, a hummingbird goes buzzing past. A woodpecker knocks, and the swallow calls. Next poem's called Why Shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I be a little cocky when it's spring and the air is saturated with the hope of pollen and the call of bird lust? When moonlight slashes diagonally across the barn roof like lightning in slow motion, and the barred owl asks, "Who cooks for you?" as the satellites go drifting past like crazy, out-of-control stars. Why shouldn't I be a little cocky when I've got a fresh pot of coffee and a full pack of smokes and the newly painted bright red MG poses on a freshly cut lawn, and then love comes walking up the farm road? Next poem's called In a Bar on the Planet Venus. Come, you and I, let us dream that young dream of love. Forget the old studded weeds of the past, and we'll sow fresh hope in the tender shoots of new love's emotion. We'll let love's immortal fire consume us in an inferno of passionate pleasure, so that we might be reborn and live once more as young innocents in awe of life's ever-new beauty. We'll make love like ravished dieters feasting on Thanksgiving dinners, like greedy plunderers ransacking their way toward those famed El Dorados, like inspired astronomers reaching out for that elusive 10th planet. We'll let love's divine light inundate and illuminate our senses, so as enlightened beings, we can live those once impossible dreams, and with God's blessing, create a new Eden. But first, one favor I beg of you. Please, tell me your name. This next poem's called She's a Cutie. She's a cutie, all right. Her face flushed a permanent shade of crimson. Just let me mention the word exuberance. Her pixie hair, that quick smile, those lips, and her eyes, crystalline in the way they reflect and multiply any light, lucky enough to shine her way. Oh, the sublime beauty of innocence. Next poem's called A Sonnet for Elise. It's my translation of Shakespeare's sonnet number 29. When I sits and review my sorry state, and depression's heavy haze clouds my eyes, oh, how the world seems so full of hate, and I the one folks most loves to despise. I gets to wishing I was born a city feller, with his suits and ties and bright blue eyes, Friends so many and wits so witty, looking so happy like he won first prize in this whole game of life. But when I shove aside them irritating thoughts of pain and gets to thinking about our down-home love, how very soon, like a late-running train, storm clouds clear, the dark dank haze abates, and I quit wishing my name was Bill Gates. Next poem's called Morning at the Beach. Light spiraling down, shallow waves rolling onto the beach, the wind whispering sonnets through 10,000 tree branches. The kingfisher calls out a warning. The otter hops along like he took running lessons from an inchworm. Crows fly by like tourists. The house wrens and chickadees flutter about like wind-blown leaves. The musty smell of low tide and wood smoke. Clouds, striated bands drift aimlessly, and then the day dawns, a pastel shade of gray. And the last poem, called There's a Ring Around the Moon. There's a ring around the moon. The cocoa-colored cat purrs, and it's quiet, except for the Boy Scouts. The popcorn is growing slower down. The renegade potato plant has sprouted out of thin air. As the whirligig silently spins, the cat's stomach gurgles. Leaves turn golden in the darkness, and there's a ring around the moon. See you down the trail.